Hi guys, how are you doing today? It's Reese from Yes Supply. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how you have to be your own cheerleader when you're first starting out launching your business. And it's one of those things like when we're first starting out, it's really scary to talk about what we're doing. You're unsure, you don't know what people are going to think. And it's so funny because like as women, we're always so supportive of our friends. If our friend is starting a new business or a new blog or promoting something, it's so easy to look at her and be like, oh my God, what she's doing is incredible. You tell your friends about it, you tell your family about it. But sometimes when it's your own thing, you're afraid to talk about it, you're afraid to promote it, it feels too personal, and because it's like your own thing, you're just nervous about putting it out there. But when you're first starting out, your business is essentially like your little baby. You are the only person that has that vision for your business. No one else, no one else can have that vision for your business that you do. So it is super, super important that you're sharing what you're doing, that people know what you're doing, that you're putting yourself out there, and essentially you're being your own cheerleader. You're acting as if you're your own best friend who's helping you promote your stuff, helping you get your stuff out there. It's super, super essential. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm so excited. Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for joining. We're at it again. I just started inviting people to like my brand page again. Aw, thanks, babe. So yeah, super excited to talk to you about this today. So I'll give people some time to get in the room. But yeah, if you don't already know who I am, I'm Reese. I'm the founder of Yes Supply. And what we do is we inspire and empower women to figure out what is their focus in life, what's their passion in life, and then we help them get paid to do what they love. So get paid to essentially be themselves and start an online business and or even a brick and mortar business, and essentially find the freedom so that you can create the type of life that you want. And I totally get it, because a few years ago, I was working in a 9-to-5. I was just working a regular job, going through the motions, and just wondering like, what else is out there for me? Like, what else can I be doing? What can I be doing that I'm super passionate about, that I'm super excited to get up in the morning for, and that I can make the impact that I want to make and really, really help people? And I figured it out by investing in myself, getting courses, learning from other people, collaborating with awesome people, and I finally figured it out. And I was just thinking about it today, and one of the big things that has truly helped me is getting through that fear. I'm not one of those people who's like always talking about myself. I'm more the type of person who, when I'm hanging out with somebody, I ask a lot of questions. So it was really hard for me to start talking about what I was doing. But I realized that if I was super, super passionate about what I was building and the impact that I wanted to create, I had to put myself out there. I had to share what I was doing. And I'm going to share with you guys today some of the benefits of putting yourself out there and starting to promote your brand. So I want to kind of talk to you about how a lot of times we're brainwashed to, I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of times we're brainwashed to think that we have to act a certain way or do certain things to be accepted. So like when we were growing up, if you watch a TV show and there was a girl who was always talking about herself, you'd be like, oh my God, everyone hates her. She's like the popular one or the mean one or whatever, and nobody likes her. So in a way, subliminally, we think that if we talk about ourselves, if we talk about what we're passionate about, or we talk about our hopes and dreams, people are going to think that we're annoying. People are going to think that, we're too self-involved. But if you think, like, sometimes what I do, if I'm being really hard on myself, or if I'm working with somebody who's being really hard on themselves, I ask them to take themselves and almost look at themselves from a different perspective. So instead of looking at yourself as just you, pretend that you're your best friend, pretend that you're your cousin or your mom, and look at yourself from an outside perspective. And when you do that, it's a lot easier to be a lot nicer to yourself, and you realize how hard you're being on yourself. The things that you say to yourself, you would never say to anyone else, but for some reason, you're saying it to yourself. So I'm sure if you were to look at yourself, or pretend that that thing that you want to launch, one of your friends was launching, I'm sure you would think that it was really cool, and I'm sure that you would want to be talking about it all the time. So start to act like your project that you're working on is like that. And so yeah, subliminally we feel like, oh my God, if I talk about myself, everyone's going to be annoyed with me, they're going to ignore me. But actually the opposite. I find that when I'm talking to a friend or somebody, and they start talking about things that they're really passionate about, they start talking about their hopes and dreams or the impact that they want to leave on the world, that's when I actually am really interested. That's when I start to pay attention. And And you'll actually be able to make deeper connections with people if you're not afraid to be vulnerable, you're not afraid to open yourself up and just really talk about what you care about and talk about the impact that you want to make on the world. So don't be afraid to be your own cheerleader. Don't be afraid to talk about the impact that you want to make on the world, even if it's not 100% perfect yet. I know I used to struggle with this a lot. I still struggle with it, of course. I'm not perfect, but I used to struggle with, oh my God, it's not perfect. Oh my God, it's not done yet. I can't tell anybody that I want to inspire people because I'm not Oprah yet, right? We all have these limiting beliefs that we think that we have to be at a certain level to start talking about what we're working on. Our blog has to be finished, or we have to have, the perfect logo or 5,000 Instagram followers or whatever it is. But if you start sharing now, what's going to happen is you're going to start to push yourself forward. You're going to accelerate your progress and you're going to accelerate your success. And what's going to happen is now that people know what you're working on, they can actually help you. They can refer you to maybe a potential client. Or I remember when I was first starting, when I kind of got out of my limiting beliefs and started sharing what I was doing, I started to get introduced to all these really cool people that I could interview or really cool people that I could collaborate with. So it's just a matter of putting yourself out there. And often you'll find, once you start talking about what you're working on, you'll find that people actually have hidden skills and little things that they're really, really good at that they want to be able to help, and they're almost shy to share what they want to do so they can collaborate with you so you can both see the benefits that you want. So a perfect example of this is at my old 9-to-5 that I worked at. For a long time, I wasn't telling anyone about my blog, Yes Supply. I was really scared that, first off, it was my job and they would, all these crazy beliefs in my head that they would fire me if they found out that I had a blog, or they would think that, it's trying to compete with my job there. And so for a long time, I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. But then it started to kind of creep into the office because I got featured in newspapers and magazines, and people started to see it on my feed and everything like that. And eventually I started talking about it more. And so the IT guy, he's still one of my really good friends. What I didn't know about him was he wasn't just the IT guy at my job. He also was a web designer and a web developer on the side, and he was really, really super talented. And we actually went from sort of just being acquaintances in the office who would wave hi to each other to sometimes we would have after work sessions, and he would help me with all the techie stuff that I just did not understand yet because I was new to this. What you guys don't realize is when I first started this, I really knew nothing about growing an online presence. I knew nothing about growing an online business. I learned as I went, and that's why I really want to urge you guys to start talking, start sharing. If you don't have any friends to talk to it about yet, share it in this group. There's so many smart, talented women in this group and the Yes Supply Society that really want to help you accomplish your goals. So anyway, he helped me so much. He helped me understand that Blogger was not a good platform to start my blog on. So if you're on Blogger right now, don't be on Blogger. He helped me move it over to WordPress.org, and that was my first legitimate blog with Yes Supply, and that's when I started monetizing. So put yourself out there. You never know how someone can help you, who wants to help you, who's really interested, who has this hidden skill or hidden talent that when you guys work together, you can just absolutely kill it and absolutely crush it together. Also, when I shared what I was working on with my job, strangely enough, because I shared what I was really passionate about, I actually got brought on for more exciting projects at my job too, because they started to see oh, she's not just the education person, she also knows social media and blogging, and she likes writing. So I got to do even more of the stuff that I like to do at my old job, which I learned a lot, and I was able to take some of those skills as I was growing my business, right? Networking and meeting people, and some of the connections that I made at work. We worked with business owners at my old job, and some of those connections I'm still friends with and learned a lot from to get to where I am. So, I know a lot of the girls in this group are INFJ like me, so more introverted, and so sometimes you don't want to share everything that you're working on, but get out of your comfort zone, because believe me, it will pay off. The more people know about what you're working on, the more opportunities there is for you to propel yourself forward. Maybe it'll be your first client, maybe it'll be your first customer, maybe it'll just be a new business bestie. You don't know, but all you know is that if you just keep it to yourself, nobody's ever going to know about it, right? So don't be afraid to share it, and it's okay to put yourself out there and even just share what you're working on. Maybe your website's not done. Maybe your Instagram isn't started, or your YouTube channel is not started, or whatever it is. But you can say, oh, well, I'm looking. I remember for me, I was saying, oh, I want to start this thing where I'm interviewing a whole bunch of people, so I'm looking for new people to interview. I didn't have to say, oh, I'm an expert guru of building an online presence or anything like that. You just kind of share what you're working on, and typically people are really, really interested to help you. So you have to put yourself out there at networking events. Start to think of yourself as the person that you want to be instead of the person that you currently are if you want to keep progressing. So at networking events, like, don't just say, oh, I work at a regular 9-to-5 job and, you know, that's it. Also tell them, okay, and I'm also building an online platform that, and share whatever it is that you're doing, and people are really, really receptive to that. And honestly, my last point is get outside of your own head. You know, sometimes we watch our own videos, we watch our own live streams, we reread our blog posts, and inside our own head we have all this negative self-talk, all this chatter that it's not good enough, who am I to share this? But I'm willing to bet that if you have a message that you want to share, there's somebody out there that needs to hear that message. They are where you were a few years ago, you've learned something, you've progressed, and because you have learned something and you've gotten a little bit better, you can now turn around and help those people. So don't get out of your own head if you have a whole bunch of limiting beliefs about what you can accomplish, because what's going to happen is the more you are ready to put yourself out there and not be so afraid of making mistakes, the faster that you'll learn what really works for you and what you actually enjoy doing, and then you'll be able to do more of it. So while I was getting ready to launch Yes Supply, before I even knew what I was going to do, I just knew, you know, I wasn't happy. This is actually the job before my tech job. Actually, my tech job was pretty good, so no hate there. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to be more creative, and I knew that at that old job, I wasn't like expressing myself as much as I wanted to. So what I did after I came home from work was I just started painting. I didn't have any goal with the painting. I didn't think that I was going to sell the painting. But what I was doing is I was creating space for myself to start creating. I was creating space for myself to allow myself to make mistakes, to allow myself to figure things out, and doing creative things, whether it's painting, maybe it's collaging, maybe it's writing for you, whatever it is, just doing something that's outside of the norm, other than just coming home and watching Netflix or just scrolling Instagram for a few hours. Coming home and actually just creating something and going from a blank canvas to actually being like, oh my God, I made something come true. That just opens up your mind to your ability that you can make an impact, that you can create. And so get out of your own head, you know, stop with the negative chatter, give yourself space to create, and whatever it is that you're working on, don't be afraid to share it. Don't think that what you're working on now always has to stay the same. Don't be afraid that, oh, if I share what I'm working on now, which is a blog, then later if I want to be, I don't know, a public speaker, I can't reintroduce myself as that. You have the choice. You can always relaunch, you can always rebrand, you can always reintroduce yourself as whatever you want. And I think sometimes we get too caught up on figuring out who we are. We need to put that title on it or put that logo on it or whatever. But recognize that you're always growing. You're always changing. There are new things coming into your environment. There are new people coming into your environment. You're always learning and progressing. So of course, who you are and how you position yourself is going to change as well. So don't get too caught up in worrying if it's perfect. Just be excited to collaborate. Be excited for the amazing people that can come into your life and help you. And don't be afraid to talk about yourself, because believe me, when you share what you're doing, people are so interested to hear what you're working on. They want to help you. I know for sure the girls in this group want to help you. I'm seeing so many of the girls in this group and in the collective just helping each other so much, sharing their best tips, their best secrets, and you will just be so happily surprised when you just get out of your comfort zone, put yourself out there, and see what can happen when you become your own best friend and your own cheerleader. So hopefully this inspired you to become your own cheerleader and to start to put yourself out there, whatever stage you're at, whether you just started yesterday or you've been doing it for months. I hope that this inspired you to get yourself out there. If you have any questions for me on this, on some of the things that I do to pep myself up, just leave me a question in the comments. I'm loving doing these videos and I want to start doing them I'm not going to say daily because, you know, I'm traveling a lot. I'm actually going to Nicaragua next week, but I'm going to try and do them really, really often. So just keep checking back into this group because I'm going to be doing them pretty much daily. And I'm going to be doing them based on the questions that you guys are asking so I can really help you to the fullest. So thanks so much for joining me, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.